Hey everybody, this is Stella. Thank you back to my channel. Today we're gonna talk about anime again. I promise you this is not just gonna be an anime channel. It's just that this tweet happened on Twitter that blew up that really kind of got me thinking. And really, I really want to talk about this. So the tweet is this. So let's talk about this idea of the need or the knee-jerk reaction for certain people to gatekeep, and specifically gatekeep within anime spaces. I find it funny because when you ask or you kind of like pry into like the need or desire to gatekeep and the reasons why, or specifically what it's gatekeeping from, it's never really consistent, right? Like there's this thing to prove who are real anime fans. And then when you look into that, you figure out there's no real actual distinction. You know, in this tweet, it's like if you've seen all of these mainstream, like the implication is mainstream anime, and this all your knowledge of anime, you're not a real anime fan, right? They never give you, the thing about it, right, they always tell you how you aren't, but they never tell you what to do to become one. And I think that's very, very interesting when we talk about this, right? It's like, it's not like it's necessarily even like, oh, this is an exclusive club and you need XYZ to get in. It's like, we need to make sure that, you know, this remains a small, insular subculture. You know, that's why there's no actual way to be a real anime fan. And the second thing about it, right, is because there is no way to actually structure, there's no objective or logical reason why, it's all like emotional. It's typically projection, right? They're projecting onto people that they don't like, and because there's certain people that they've already set in their mind that they don't like, those are the ones that they don't want to share the space with. So they'll find a way to make sure that the people they don't like, which in this case I guess are people who criticize sexualization within anime, or it's even another example, people who don't like women getting into anime, whatever the fuck that means. They'll already set up a criteria that they know will exclude most of those people and call it real anime fans. And there's nothing to do with being a real anime fan at all. It's just your personal feelings, not wanting a group of people to enjoy the stuff. And the funny thing about that, right, is because there's no real way for them to gatekeep anime. Because first of all, they don't make it, you know, they don't produce it, they don't create anything about it. They're consumers. Their identity, the anime fan, you know, is a consumer-based identity, meaning that they don't contribute anything besides maybe financial, and therefore they don't really have any power or say in who else can consume this product. That's it. They don't have the ability to. So they're not really even really gatekeeping. They're more just whining and complaining. So it's just it's interesting, right? It's interesting that people want to create an identity based off consuming shit that everyone across the world does. You know, you're not, you as an anime, you sitting down and watching anime, you basing your identity around anime. You're not different or special. Most people who have access to a screen will sit down and watch a screen, whether that screen is a YouTube video, whether that's scrolling through 4chan or Reddit or Tumblr or watching TV, watching fucking CNN. You're not doing anything special with consuming it, right? Interacting with anime in the way you are is not a culture. It's not a religion. It's not something that's in fear of being erased, therefore needs to be protected or gatekept. You know, you just watch a TV show, or you just watch an internet show, whatever it is, whether it's on Netflix or whether it's on syndicated TV. You know, you're not special. There's no cool kids club for watching anime. There isn't. You, like everyone else, have an interest and passion and hobby, and some of that is watching shows. So someone else watching a show and having comments and opinions and talking about it in ways you don't like isn't ruining anime. It's not ruining the community. And there's nothing to protect it in, because there's nothing really there. It's not anything there. It's also funny that these people will kind of like wear it as a badge of honor, right? Like the idea of being a real anime fan as a badge of honor, or being a weeb or things like that. And it's like, when you think about it though, who really wants to be a true anime fan? Because given their definitions, given what we can assume what they mean by it, all that seems to be is someone who isn't a well-adjusted adult. Like the person who made that tweet was a full-grown adult, right? A full-grown adult. And they're acting like a child, like a child that like wants to be part of the cool kids, or believes that they are. and wants to keep out like someone who has the cooties. There's no like actual like logical process of thinking here. So why would anyone want to be a part of a Weeb Nation, an anime, a true anime fan, when like everyone who views people who base their identity, their entire. I'm not talking about people who just enjoy it. Listen, I've been watching anime since I was 3, right? And I've watched more than just shonen. And it's funny because when you ask these real anime fans what other stuff they watch besides shonen, it's always the same shit. But I've been watching anime since I was 3, so I would even count as an anime fan. But it's just weird because like basing your whole identity around it, and the people who are related to that and who you are basically in reference to aren't the people you want to be related to. You don't want to be related to the people who are seen as real anime fans, because those are people who just are seen as people who can't like get along in society or can't seem to like have a normal conversation with another human being, let alone that human being is the opposite gender. So like, what is the point? Like, what do you gain? Like, why would you want to be a real anime fan? Like, why is that something to be cherished or protected? When if you're someone who just watches, say all you watch is Attack on Titan, say that's the only anime you've ever watched, you enjoy it, you go online, you talk about it, you talk with other people about it, and someone says, "Oh, well, is that? Oh, you're not a real anime fan." All you'd be like, "All right, buddy," and you keep on going on and enjoying your time. Like that's the whole purpose of it is, right? Is to enjoy watching, a story unfold. And then like talking about it with people that like it as well. It's interesting because like there's no real reason to gatekeep watching anime, right? There's nothing of value gained by having it smaller, and there's nothing lost by having it bigger. No one can even like really describe the measure those two things. They're just acting emotionally and then trying to put like post hoc rationalizations over it. Just say that you don't. Just say that you don't like certain political views. You don't like certain commentaries or criticisms on your shows, and say you don't like women. Just like be honest about that and stop pretending like you're doing something like noble. Like there's some sort of morality here when when you're acting like a brat. When you should have matured past that and be like, okay, well, this person has an opinion on something I disagree with. Boom, you just ignore it, or you make your peace about it. You don't formulate this in-group, out-group thinking on consumer identity. You know how like just it sounds weird to be so attached, and a lot of people are attached to consumer identity. It's a legit way for brands to make sure they keep money, to have you identify with things that you consume. But like take a second and break it apart. That doesn't make any sense. Anime isn't made worse because it's become mainstream. Anything that's going to become popular will become mainstream. Anything that there is a profit or a profit incentive is going to become big and mainstream. You can't fight that, right? If you want to create your own little enclave of weirdos and lolicons and people who don't know how to take criticism, go do that. There's plenty of internet spaces to do that. But like trying to make these big announcements of who isn't or is not all that does is make people view you as a dickhead. And I guess at the end of the day, you'll get what you want because they won't associate with you. But guess what, right? As anime gets bigger, more normies are going to be watching it, talking about it, and it's going to be spreading, and that's going to have a tumble effect and making it even bigger. You, on the other hand, and your like insular elitist mentality, is just going to get smaller. And I guess that's what you want, right? You want a small club of people who are just all the same and all think like each other, and no one ever has to say anything that offends you. And eventually, you'll peter out because they won't make. There's no you are the little small like elitist true anime fans does not have enough capital and money to keep anime alive. So like everyone else, the studios, the writers, the artists, the voice actors involved are probably going to be fine with the bigger normies that actually make the money, while you just can go ahead and I guess die mad about it. But yeah, don't gatekeep anime. It doesn't even make sense to do it. Y'all have a good day. Peace out.